Hi, good morning. Myself Sivakumar, Assistant Professor, CSE Department, Vigyanas Nirla. My topic of presentation is Unix Programming Introduction to Unix. So, what is an Unix? So, Unix is an operating system. So, what is an operating system? An operating system is a system software that acts as an interface between the user and the hardware. So, what are the different examples of operating system? So, Windows is an operating system, Unix is an operating system, and Mac is an operating system, iOS is an operating system. So like that there are different operating systems available in the market. So what is the history of the Unix? So Unix has a what is a brief history of the Unix? So Unix was first developed in as a project called Multics, that is Multiplex Information and Computing System. So Multics is a joint venture from AT&T, MIT, General Electric. So the purpose of Multics project is to develop an multi-user operating system. So but later the project was dropped due to not achieving its objectives. So based upon the inputs received from the Multics project, Ken Thompson along with Dennis Ritchie started a new project called Unix, that is Uniplex Information and Computing System. So it was first developed on a PDP-7 machine. So later on he moved to another project because PDP-7 was developed. Unix was developed on PDP-7 in assembly language, programming language, and assembly language is not portable. So that's why portability. What is meant by portability? Portability means ability of a software to present in to install in any type of hardware is nothing but the portability. For example, on Intel hardware or AMD hardware, like that. So it should be the OS should be able to install on any type of hardware. That is nothing but the portability. So it is not portable. So that's why Dennis Ritchie started again a new project called B programming language. So Dennis Ritchie developed a B programming language, but it was also dropped because it also does not satisfy its purpose. It also satisfied the requirements of the multi-user operating system and also portability. So that's why again another project was started called BCPL. So later BCPL was BCPL is the parent of B programming language, and later on in 1973 he developed Unix using C programming language. So since C is high level language and Unix was completely portable, and 95% of the Unix system was developed in C programming language. And in 1971 the first report was a research report at AT&T Bell Laboratories was released. So its name is Unix Programming Manual. In 1973 there is a Unix system was developed where 95% of the Unix was written in C language and remaining 5% was written in assembly language. And in Unix, due to the development of the Unix by Dennis Ritchie, he awarded a prestigious ACM Turing Machine Award at the time. And the other contributions along with development of Unix are first one is bound shell, second one is ed editor. So these are the two contributions, and also System 5 was also developed at the time, and System 5 release 4 is the most stable version of Unix, and it provides the upward compatibility for all the further releases from that time onwards. So this is a contribution of the AT&T towards the Unix development. There is another university at that time which also showed interest in the development of Unix development. So first one, that is UCB, University of California, Berkeley. So what the university, there are two students at that university. Bill Joy and Chuck Halley. So they both developed the Unix operating system called the BSD, that is Berkeley Software Distribution. They got the financial aid from DARPA, that is Defense Defense Advanced Research and Project Agency. So based upon the financial aid they got from Unix, they developed 5 versions of the BSD: 4.0 BSD, 4.1 BSD, 4.2 BSD, 4.3 BSD and 4.4 BSD. So this is the variations of the BSD. And also they developed fast file system and communication facilities like socket, so at that time. And apart from Unix development, they also developed text processing utilities like VI Editor, and also they developed C Shell at University of California, Berkeley. So this is the contribution of the UCB towards the Unix development. Next is other contributions. So what are the other contributions, other development of Unix at that time? So first one is, other contributions is, first Solaris. Solaris is the another Unix operating system developed by Sun Microsystems. And Silicon Graphics, it is developed by Iris. And Silicon Graphics developed the Iris. And HP developed HP UX. And IBM developed AIX. And Xenix was developed by Microsoft. Similarly, Ultrix is developed by Diesel Equipment Corporation, DEC. So these are the other contributions of the Unix. So why these many variations in Unix? Because Unix was freely available software at the time at University of California, and it is meant, and many research work was done at that time on the BSD Unix. That is one reason. And next one is there any standard version of Unix? So there is a standard version, so which is POSIX is the standard version. That is 1003.10 is the POSIX version, which is currently we are doing. Next is Linux. So Linux was developed by Linus Torvalds. So Linus Torvalds in the year 1991. So it is fast, scalable and most efficient operating system in Unix flavors. So this is about the brief introduction of the Unix. So here we covered about the development of the Unix at AT&T Bell Laboratories, and development of the Unix at UCB, and there are other contributions of the Unix. Okay, and what is the standard version of the Unix? So this is about the introduction of the Unix. Next is, what is Unix? So Unix is a operating system. Yeah, what is an operation? An operating system acts as a resource manager. That means it can manage resources like processor, hardware, and processor, hard disk, I/O. Okay, so like this, the management of the resources is being done by the Unix operating system. So what is what is the specialty of Unix? So Unix is a multi-user operating system, multitasking and multi-user. That means more than one task can simultaneously execute on the Unix. So that is the advantage of the Unix. And Unix is multi-user. It gives the illusion to the user that he is working on a single operating system. So it simulates the process, and it creates the shared memories to each user present in the environment. And Unix has a communication facility. That means it can communicate in a network. So that is another feature available in the Unix. So, and Unix is portable, highly portable. That means Unix operating system can be installed on any hardware, 32-bit or 64-bit, either from Intel or from AMD, like that. Any hardware, Unix operating system can be installed. So based upon these features, so Unix is highly popular in the world. Okay, thank you.